Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Badvibes. I'm here with medical news, medical impossibilities that I was not aware of. So this is a bizarre case of a woman who basically her body produces beer, and despite going to the emergency room multiple times, they just didn't believe her. And at the end of the day, she has a rare condition that causes her body to produce alcohol. So a 50-year-old woman's potentially fatal disease was dismissed 7 times by doctors who accused her of being drunk. The woman from Canada, they were too polite to ask too many questions, I guess. The woman from Canada suffered the rare and intriguing condition called autobrewery syndrome, which causes alcohol to be produced in the body, leading to symptoms like slurred speech, sudden sleepiness, and blurred vision, as if the patient is intoxicated, as the name implies. So it took 2 years before she was diagnosed, as doctors ignored her insistent claims that she had not been drinking. Imagine being trashed for 2 years and you couldn't make it stop. That would be terrible. On one occasion, an emergency physician wrongly diagnosed a psychiatric condition, and she was certified under the Mental Health Act, meaning doctors could treat her against her will. Wow. I wonder what they did. So autobrewery syndrome, ABS, ABS, causes carbohydrates in the stomach to be fermented, increasing ethanol levels in the blood and resulting in signs of intoxication. So yeah, basically you have the perfect recipe for a microbrewery in your gut, and that turns carbs. I mean, if you've done any home brewing, this probably sounds familiar, the basic principle. You're fermenting carbohydrates and producing ethanol, which is, the alcohol we drink for fun. So it goes on to say autobrewery syndrome is a condition that affects less than 100 people worldwide and causes microbes in the gut to spontaneously convert sugar into alcohol. So it's thought to be triggered by a poor diet, antibiotics, or other factors that lead to a dominance of yeast and other microorganisms in the gut that help create alcohol. So yeah, that was my first thought. Yeast is important. You got to have yeast to ferment things. And it sounds like a gut imbalance that's just totally wild. I mean, if you've ever taken antibiotics, you've probably heard the warnings. Be careful. It could throw things off, give you diarrhea, upset your stomach, blah, blah, blah. But you never hear about it creating so much yeast in your gut that you're a brewery, a walking drunk off your ass brewery. So that's exactly what sounds like it happened here. So it produces ethanol. So it's absorbed into the bloodstream just like you drank it. And it makes somebody drunk even if they haven't been drinking. So 2 years before she was diagnosed, the woman started to become extremely sleepy during the day and fall asleep suddenly while getting ready for work or making dinner. Wow. Man, imagine her tolerance now, though. If they got things cleared up, she could probably knock out a whole keg on her own like a champion. She'd drink a glass of wine while on vacation, but in recent years she had stopped drinking completely because of her religious beliefs. The woman visited her family physician multiple times with excessive tiredness and also went to the ER with slurred speech. The smell of alcohol in her breath and falls caused by her drowsiness. Wow. So at her first ER visit, her alcohol level was 39 millimoles per liter. Less than 2 is considered a normal level. 39 millimoles per liter. I don't know how that translates to the typical blood alcohol range, but anyways, less than 2 is normal, and she's at 39. So if that tells you anything. Doctors discharged her from the ER saying she was drunk, despite the fact there were no reports of her drinking, which was corroborated by her family. During later visits, she had 3 separate assessments by psychiatrists who provided care related to addiction medicine at the hospital. On her 7th visit to the ER, a diagnosis of autobrewery syndrome was suggested. I bet people are just like, huh? But it sounds like there's 100 other people in the world that have that. She was referred to a dietitian who put her on a low-carbohydrate diet, which eased her symptoms. A low-carb, sugar-free diet helps by reducing the amount of yeast that accumulates in the intestines. That would turn into alcohol in the stomach. Makes sense. I mean, if you try to brew it at home, you got to throw sugar in or it doesn't work. Yeah, autobrewery syndrome carries substantial social, legal, and medical consequences for patients and their loved ones. I mean, for real, imagine not knowing this and driving around. You're going to fail a sobriety test. You're going to blow a point. It's like 0.08 is the legal limit in most states. So what? She was 9 times. Well, the legal limit's not the same as normal. Say she blows a 0.38 or whatever that level equates to. There's no way they would believe. She's like, I haven't been drinking. It's like, yeah, sure. And they smell it on her breath. She's like, no, I actually have a brewery in my intestines. And then they would immediately arrest her. So this is not the first time the bizarre illness has been documented in medical literature. It also happened to a 26-year-old in Salt Lake City. She was diagnosed in 2018 after months of doctor's appointments and specialist visits. She had fruity breath, glossed over eyes, and breaking the fits of laughter, and had slurred speech. Wow. So she's now on a course of antifungal medication to help stop her food from making her quote-unquote drunk. Man, that is such a weird condition. And bodies are weird. So this is the... If you're like me and have never heard of auto-brewery syndrome, here's the cliff notes on it. You know, causes sufferers to feel intoxicated and unable to perform simple tasks, much like drinking a bunch of alcohol, because it's always in you. It usually occurs due to yeast accumulating in the intestines after the sufferer ingests sugar. So, I mean, literally, you're a microbrewery. And the syndrome occurs when... The syndrome occurs when a sufferer's yeast in their intestines grow out of control, possibly following a course of antibiotics. And that can happen. I was talking about that earlier. You know, if you kill one bacteria, it gives the chance for something else to, you know, that may not be affected by that medication to grow and flourish and throw things out of balance. Usually not yeast, but hey, it can happen, obviously. And it could also be caused by abnormal enzymes in the liver. Anyone of any age can suffer. And it's so rare that the prevalence is unknown and there is no cure. That stinks. So they just have to treat it for forever. Avoiding sugar and carbohydrates may help to control the symptoms, as well as frequently monitoring a sufferer's blood alcohol content. And yeah, you have to walk around with a breathalyzer all the time. Why are you so tore up? It's like, I'm a brewery. I can't help it. Lay off me. Yeah, imagine a kid with it. A baby, drunk baby. That is a bizarre one. Did not know that was possible. And now we know. Thanks, Internet.